Good afternoon, students. I hope that you all have understood the structure of the human respiratory system and its function. Now we will move on to the next topic, that is mechanism of breathing. Now, before starting the mechanism of breathing, I want to add here that there are two kind of muscles which are involved in the mechanism of breathing. They are the phrenic muscles and the intercostal muscles. Phrenic muscles, they help in the movement of the diaphragm. On the other hand, intercostal muscles, they are present between the ribs, so they are helping in the movement of the thoracic cavity. Now the question arises over here, that is breathing and respiration are the same terms. So I have already discussed earlier with you that breathing, it is just the part of the respiration process. Respiration is the elaborated process where the breathing also takes place. So breathing, it is further divided into two parts, that is inspiration and expiration. Inspiration is further called as inhalation also, and expiration on other hand is called as exhalation also. So before starting the topic, we will perform an activity that you all will respire in, you all will breathe in. Okay, so just breathe in and then observe the changes in your rib cage position. I hope now you all are familiar with the word rib cage and thoracic cavity. आपने अपने chest region को observe करना है and while taking the breathe. So when you breathe in, what you notice is that your thoracic cavity, it increase in the surface area. And I have already discussed with you that when we breathe in, our diaphragm, it gets flat. हमने अभी लास्ट वीडियो में पढ़ा था कि डायफ्राम क्या हो जाएगा, फ्लैट हो जाएगा. This is due to the presence of the phrenic muscles, because I have already discussed with you that phrenic muscles help in the movement of the diaphragm. So by the help of the phrenic muscles, the diaphragm, it becomes stretched and become flat. Now what about the rib cage? The rib cage, it will also move आउटवर्ड एंड अपवर्ड पोजीशन. आपने जैसे ही सांस ली, आप क्या देखते हो कि आपकी जो चेस्ट कैविटी है वो अपलिफ्ट होती है, ओके, और बाहर की तरफ मूव करती है. सो द मूवमेंट ऑफ रिब केज, इट इज़ कंट्रोल्ड बाय द हेल्प ऑफ इंटरकोस्टल मसल्स. ओके, as a result, as the rib cage it expanded, the lungs which are lying inside the rib cage, they also get expanded, they also get increase in the surface area. Now as the area of lung increases, this will lead to the decrease in the air pressure inside the lung. अब जब लंग का एरिया बढ़ गया तो उसके अंदर जो एयर का प्रेशर है वो ऑटोमेटिकली क्या हो जाएगा, डिक्रीज हो जाएगा. एंड एज अ रिजल्ट एयर विल रश in the process of inspiration. Okay, and if we talk about the expiration, the second step of the breathing, it is just opposite of inspiration. तो अगर आपको inspiration learn हो गया तो आपने उन्हीं points का ही opposite लिखना है. That in expiration, now you will perform another activity. Now firstly inhale and then exhale the air. Okay, जब आप exhale करोगे, then what will happen, your thoracic cavity, it will come to the normal position, its area, it will decrease, and your diaphragm will also attain the normal position, the relaxed position, that is dome shape. Okay, now if you observe your rib cage movement, you will see that your rib cage now will return to its normal position. It will move inward and downward where it was during the rest before inhalation. Now what happen, as the rib cage it becomes compressed, the lungs which are present inside, As the area of thoracic cavity decreases, the lungs which are present inside the rib cage, they will also get compressed. Okay, उनके ऊपर pressure exert करेगा, and inside the lungs what happen, the air pressure will increase. अब air, पहले lungs क्या थे, wide हो गए थे, तो air pressure क्या हो गया था, low हो गया था. अब lungs क्या हो गए हैं, compress हो गए हैं, तो अंदर एयर प्रेशर क्या हो जाएगा, इट विल increase. And as a result we know that in diffusion process always the molecules or substances or gases, they move from higher concentration to the lower concentration. Now the air inside the lung, as its pressure increases, so the air will rush out. Okay, so this was the mechanism of breathing, which is very important. So if you draw this flow chart, you will get the full marks. तो इसके थ्रू, इस फ्लो चार्ट के थ्रू आप easily दोनों प्रोसेसेस को कंपेयर कर सकते हो, and it is easy to learn. Now we come to the important term related to the breathing, related to the lung capacity, that is the residual volume. Now what is residual volume and what is its importance? It is very important question. Many a times it has been asked. So what is residual volume? Let's take a view. The amount of air that remain in the lungs after even the forcible expiration. हमारे जो लंग्स है वो कभी भी खाली नहीं होते, उनमें एयर हमेशा रहती है. ओके, बेशक हमने एक्सपायर कर लिया है, एक्सेल कर लिया है, फोर्सिबल एक्सेल कर लिया है, जितना ज़्यादा हम एक्सेल कर सकते हैं उतना एक्सेल भी कर लेंगे, उसके बावजूद भी हमारे लंग्स के अंदर क्या प्रेजेंट होती है, कुछ अमाउंट ऑफ एयर प्रेजेंट होती है, एंड दैट अमाउंट ऑफ एयर इज टर्म्ड एज द रेजिडुअल वॉल्यूम. वी ऑल नो द मीनिंग ऑफ रेजिडुअल. रेजिडुअल मीन्स बचा हुआ. ओके, सो वो एयर जो रिमेनिंग है हमारे लंग्स में आफ्टर द फोर्सिबल एक्सपायरेशन, दैट इज कॉल्ड एज द रेजिडुअल वॉल्यूम. नाउ द क्वेश्चन कम्स, व्हाट इज द function of the residual volume? This residual volume, it helps in the continuous exchange of the gases. How it is possible, how it is helping in the continuous exchange of gases? This residual volume of air, it will keeps the alveoli always open so that exchange of gases can easily take place. So both of these questions, they are important, that what is the mechanism of breathing, and second one, what is residual volume and what is its function. I hope both the topics, they are clear to you now. Now come to the next topic, that is the transport of the gases. Now we all know that if we are talking about the respiration process or breathing process, we generally inhale the oxygen and exhale the carbon dioxide gas. And what is the site of the transport of gases or exchange of gases? It is the alveoli, which is present inside the lung. So if we talk about the alveoli, in alveoli the amount of oxygen is high. How the amount of oxygen is high? Because it is taking the oxygen from the atmospheric air. In atmospheric air, we know that the composition of oxygen is quite high. So from alveoli, this oxygen, it binds with the hemoglobin to form the oxyhemoglobin, and then via the hemoglobin it will move to the blood via the capillaries, and that blood, the hemoglobin that is present in the RBCs, when it combined with oxygen, it forms oxyhemoglobin. It forms oxyhemoglobin. This oxyhemoglobin, it is acting as the carrier which is carrying the oxygen molecule. One hemoglobin, it can bind with the 4 oxygen molecule. It can bind with the 4 oxygen molecule. So एक hemoglobin के अंदर 4 ऑक्सीजन ईजिली कैरी होते हैं and it move from the alveoli via the capillaries, because alveoli they are covered with the capillaries. Okay, so the oxygen gas, it diffuses from the alveoli as its concentration is high in the alveoli, and in capillaries the concentration is low, so it diffuses from the alveoli to the capillaries, and these capillaries they carry the oxygen to the different body parts for performance of the different functions. Because when the body parts they are performing any kind of activity, they require energy, and to get the energy oxygen is required. Okay, on the other hand, if we talk about the carbon dioxide, carbon dioxide inside the alveoli, it is very low. Okay, so what happen, the blood, it will carry the carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide is the waste product of all the tissues. As respiration, it occurs in all the tissues, so as the waste product of respiration, carbon dioxide gas, it gets accumulated in the blood again by the help of hemoglobin. Hemoglobin now it will give off the oxygen and in turn bind the carbon dioxide molecule with it. Okay, now the hemoglobin, when it is binded with carbon dioxide, it is called as carboxy hemoglobin. Carboxy hemoglobin when it is bind with carbon dioxide, and oxyhemoglobin when it binds with oxygen. तो दोनों में difference है. Clear? So now what happened, this carbon dioxide, as it is less in the alveoli and it is rich, it is having high concentration in the blood, because blood is taking up the carbon dioxide from all the tissues, so the exchange it takes place in the alveoli and blood. ब्लड से कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड डिफ्यूज़ होकर कहाँ एंटर कर जाएगी, एल्वेलाई में एंटर कर जाएगी, एंड एल्वेलाई उसको रेस्पिरेटरी ट्रैक्ट के थ्रू बॉडी से बाहर ट्रांसफ़र कर देगा. इज़ दैट क्लियर? सो हेयर कम्स द next topic, that is the importance of respiration. Now hemoglobin, it is called as the respiratory pigment. Why it is called as respiratory pigment? Because it is helping in exchange of both the gases which are involved in breathing, that is carbon dioxide and oxygen. Hemoglobin can bind with both of these. Okay, but the site is different. Now importance of respiration. We all know that respiration is the process which is giving us the energy. It is the source of energy in all the living organisms, and this energy is being utilized to perform the activities. Okay, now the second one, during the respiration the heat is produced. The energy that is produced, it is in the form of heat, and this heat it is used for maintaining the body temperature. ओके, फॉर दी बायोकेमिकल एक्टिविटीज़. हमारी बॉडी के अंदर बहुत सारी ऐसी रिएक्शंस हो रही हैं जिनको एंजाइम्स कंट्रोल करती हैं. तो एंजाइम की प्रॉपर फंक्शनिंग के लिए एक पर्टिकुलर टेम्परेचर रेंज की ज़रूरत होती है. तो वो जो टेम्परेचर रेंज है वो कौन प्रोवाइड करा रहा है? रेस्पिरेशन प्रोवाइड करा रही है. नेक्स्ट इज़ फर्मेंटेशन. वी हैव डिस्कस्ड अबाउट द फर्मेंटेशन. इट इज़ टाइप ऑफ द respiration. Okay, where what is happening, the yeast is being used. The yeast is acting on the sugar, and different alcohol and organic acids they are produced. So this fermentation, it is generally due to the activity of the microbes, as I have already discussed with you. Generally the yeast and bacteria, they help in fermentation, and they are used in the baking as well as the brewing industry. Okay, now during the respiration many of the intermediates they are formed, which further break down to form the variety of the biomolecules. So we can take just one example, the pyruvic acid that is formed during the respiration process, this pyruvic acid, it can further give rise to the lactic acid after the fermentation. It is one of the example that how the intermediate it can be converted into the different forms. Okay, so these are the importance of the respiration. I hope up till now you have understood the complete process of respiration, that what is respiration, its definition, types of respiration. Okay, then the respiratory system, respiratory surface, respiratory organ, ये सभी terms आपको clear हो चुकी हैं. And last we have discussed about the mechanism of breathing as well as the transport of the gases or the exchange of the gases. So it was all about the respiration. Now we will move on to the question parts, that is in text NCERT question, the questions which are related with the respiration. So in next video we will discuss about the question answers. Thank you.